Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Blake Damon here, and today we're going to go through some Overwatch 2 news. In this video, I'm going to go through some patch notes that have just come out at the beginning of Season 10. Only the hero updates, not about all the other stuff that's in the patch notes. I might cover all that stuff later on down the track. I only really wanted to do this because I've been seeing that some of my previous patch notes shorts have been getting a bit more views, which worries me because I don't really want you guys to get old information from me. So I'm kind of rushing to do this so that you guys don't confuse the old news with the new stuff. So let's get to it. We'll start off with the tank role. First up, we have Doomfist. It looks to be a little bit of a buff to his Rocket Punch. So now the empowered Rocket Punch is no longer consumed when the wind-up is cancelled by using Seismic Slam or Power Block. And the developer comments read, "This quality of life improvement streamlines the transition between charging up an empowered Rocket Punch and another ability by removing the requirement of pressing the cancel input first." So it seems that in order to get from an empowered Rocket Punch to another ability, you'd have to cancel the empowered Rocket Punch first, and now you don't have to. At least I think that's what it's saying. We need some Doomfist mains in the comments to let us know whether or not I interpreted that right or wrong. Anyway, moving on. Next we have Junker Queen, whose impact damage of her Carnage has now been increased from 90 to 105. That's quite a buff there. Reinhardt also got quite a buff to his Earth Shatter. The knockdown duration of his Earth Shatter has now been increased from 2.75 seconds to 3 seconds. And the Earth Shatter's shockwave range has now been increased from 20 to 25 meters. So keep an eye out now for Rain's Earth Shatter. It does go that little bit further now. Next up we have Sigma's buff. His experimental barrier movement speed has now been increased from 16.5 meters per second to 20 meters per second. The developer comments read, "This change will improve Sigma's ability to protect allies that are further away from him." So yeah, basically when he needs the shield to go further, it'll get there faster. And the last of the tanks is Wrecking Ball. Looks like he had a mini rework done. First off, his Grappling Claw. So now you can hold jump while the Grappling Claw is attached to terrain to retract it, pulling yourself towards the anchor point. This action can be rebound in his hero settings. So basically, while you're using Grappling Claw, you can hold down the jump button and that'll pull you towards the Grappling Claw. And if you'd rather the jump button didn't do that, you can change it in the hero settings. Also, Grappling Claw's cooldown is reduced to 1 second if Wrecking Ball never reaches ramming speed before cancelling the ability. But if you interrupt him with Hack, Hinder and Stuns, this will trigger a full cooldown, which I think is fair since you go through all the effort of trying to interrupt him only to have the cooldown still be only 1 second. Yeah, this is more fair. Also, the maximum duration timer of the Grappling Claw no longer triggers unless he reaches ramming speed. So all in all, a really good bunch of buffs to Hammond's Grappling Claw. It has a lot more utility now and is a lot more forgiving. Hammond's Adaptive Shield also got a bit of a change and a buff. So now it can be reactivated to redistribute up to 300 overhealth to nearby allies, capping at 75 per person, as well as enemy and ally detection radius increased from 10 to 13 meters. So before this change, his Adaptive Shield would only be for himself. Now if he reactivates the ability, it gets shared among his teammates as long as they're within 13 meters. It caps at 75 overhealth per ally, lasting 4 seconds. I think this is a pretty good change. Ball can now help out his fellow dive teammates with this new ability, which is going to make him just that little bit more annoying. And finally, his Minefield got a buff. Each mine's health has been increased from 50 to 60. The developers have comments around all these changes. It reads, "The general goals here are to add a direct way for Wrecking Ball to support his allies aside from purely enemy team disruption, making the hero more approachable while also adding more avenues for skill expression and improve quality of life around the grapple." I think these are pretty good changes. As a support main, Ball has always been my least favorite tank. I didn't really think he did anything for the team other than roll around and sort of distract the other team while the DPS tried to kill stuff. But now at least with Adaptive Shield, it might feel like he's contributing more to the team. We'll see how these buffs play out. Moving on to the damage roll. First up, we have Sombra. Looks like her virus has been nerfed. The total damage over time has been decreased from 100 to 90. I think I read somewhere that it was because the impact damage was already already quite high. So in order to balance the overall damage of that ability, they decided to reduce the damage over time. Next up, we have Tracer. Looks like she received a nerf as well. So Tracer's recoil cooldown has now been increased from 12 to 13 seconds, and her pulse bomb has shrunk. The base projectile size has decreased from 0.2 to 0.1 meters, making the total projectile size 0.25 meters. The developer comments for all these changes read, "There is now more downtime before Tracer can safely re-engage after driving her away, and Pulse Bomb will require more precision." So the recoil change is to give us a break from her for a bit, and the Pulse Bomb change is to make sure that it's not too easy to stick us with it. And lastly, in the damage roll, we have Venture. Their developer comments read, "We are redistributing the damage on some of their abilities so that positioning relative to the enemy and tracking a target are more important for dealing maximum damage." Starting with their drill dash, the impact damage has been decreased from 60 to 40, and the damage over time has been increased from 40 to 60. Clobber's impact damage has been decreased from 40 to 30, and the damage over time has been increased from 30 to 40. And Tectonic Shock's vertical knockback has been decreased by 30%. I feel like these changes maybe stopped her from being too OP, which is good. I think she's good where she's at now. And last but not least, the support role. First up, we have Ilari. Her solo rifle has gotten a bit of a nerf and a buff. So the primary fire recovery has increased from 0.2 to 0.25 seconds, but the healing has increased from 105 to 115 heal per second. So they sort of decreased the DPS part of the solo rifle and really increased the healing part of it. I was watching a video of ML7 playing Ilari with this DPS nerf, and he was saying that the change wasn't much, but it was enough to kind of put you off. He got very frustrated in that video. Moving on to Lucio. Lucio's sonic amplifier damage per projectile has decreased from 20 to 18, while his sound wave damage, which is the boop, has increased from 35 to 45. Next we have Lifeweaver. His rejuvenating dash self-heal has increased from 50 to 60, and Tree of Life got a buff. The pulse healing has been increased from 75 to 90. I'm so glad that they did that to Tree of Life, because sometimes it feels like it's not really doing anything. Like my teammates are literally dying while it's up. And finally, we have Moira. Her biotic grasp damage per second has been decreased from 65 to 60, and Coalescence's self-heal per second has been increased from 50 to 55. Yeah, sometimes while I'm ulting with Moira, I feel like Coalescence's self-heal is a little weak against the DPS's heal reduction. I'm hoping this change makes it just feel a little better. And that's it, guys. That's all the hero updates. If you'd like to check out the patch notes yourself, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Otherwise, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe if you haven't already.